Morning, dear students. So let's begin today's session. Today's date is 31st October 2025, and here I'm with the Indian Express page. So let's begin today's session. So today is Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Jayanti, and it's 150th and birth anniversary of him. Okay, so this day is celebrated as Unity Day, Ekta Divas, and these are the events that are happening there. Okay, so let's read. This is the first slide where it explains the idea of Trump Xi agree on ceasefire in trade war. China eases curbs on rare earth exports. China tariff cut from 57% to 47%. India target US deal with 50 to 20% final tariff. Okay. Opposes bail pleas, resign, change, plot behind 2020 riot, Delhi police tells Supreme Court. Message beyond optics. G2 world, China rising frames a Delhi challenge. Indian firms get first set of license for import of Chinese RE magnet. Jimana Jemima leads record ODI chase. India stunned Austria to enter final. Okay, this is the second place, and it is the detailed explanation of the first page. So go through there and read each and everything. I will upload the PDF. If you are unable to read each thing in detail, go through the PDF and read each and every line in detail. Okay. National Unity Day, 31st October. Okay. About the city, after inspecting 37 DJP sewage treatment plant in June, CPCB says none met norms. DPCC claims most did. Two pollution watchdogs, same STPs, very different readings. Okay. Air quality index up by 100 points, highest in October in 3 years. Student union leaders fine JNU rusticates student for protest against face recognition tech at library. If you have chronic lung disease, leave Delhi for 6 to 8 weeks. This is by the doctor opinion. Okay. No approval, long running D school talks is shut down. Diwali diyas make way for Halloween costume in spooky season. CSR for nation building to achieve Vikshit Bharat. Rail Vikas Nigam Limited. It mainly about all the initiatives of corporate social responsibility (CSR). We're building nation's infrastructure, enriching lives, empowering society. This is the thing. These are the things. Oil Swabhalamam, empowering youth, shaping future. When a nation invests in the skills of the youth, it invests in the strength of its own future. Guided by this belief, Oil India Limited has for decades invested deep in the development of communities across its operational areas. Okay, so these are all the initiatives that should be taken out by the CSR. Okay, CSR, building sustainability and inclusive future with Indian PSUs. This is also about the city. Let's read about the city. Two arrested from West Bengal and Jharkhand minor detained. Jamtara link hacking diploma, DJB warning. Three youths sell personal and banking data held. Okay, I have to use the pen so that I can underline the important words. Okay, blames clerical error. EDU officer in Faridabad retract later, flagging love jihad by student. Okay, from 10 lakh to 1 lakh, floor lowered for cyber fraud EFIR. Government to host food festival to celebrate Foundation Day of Delhi, 9 other states. Okay, so let's move on to the editorial page, and it is the one of the best page of the newspaper. And here we know the idea of the author, what and what's going in the economy. It's just a detailed explanation of a certain topic, and that topic is much more and much more relevant. So that is the current topic, and we are going to study it. Okay, and in detail. Okay, and in detail we are just reading each lines. Okay, so word of the day: the freer the flow of world trade, the stronger the tides for economic progress and peace among nations. Okay, so when there is a high flow of world trade, then the economic progress is stronger. Okay, so this is the thing, and this thing gives peace to the nation. Okay, in all the nation, if the import and export are in equal amount, or if the relation of countries are good, then the economy will will show a good progress. Okay, good progress. So this is the main idea of the thought. So, two superpowers. Let's read it in detail, and I will try to explain with my own words so that everyone can able to read it and listen it carefully, and they will give their own idea about the passage. And I know author at the end asks some question about the economy or about anything about this topic, and you have to give the answer. Okay, so US China rivalry is more than a tale of rise and decline. Okay, so it will frame the new global order. Okay, so before reading the important one, I'm just reading the short form or the short notes, whatever that is. So whatever this is, I'm just trying to read it. Okay, and before starting this long paras, just read this. Okay, the US might have disrespected its allies, but report of the death of either NATO or of alliance with East Asian power have been greatly exaggerated, as India's case shows. When Washington imposed tariff, it also clearly understands the limit of New Delhi's options with either Russia or China. Almost from the get-go, the Indian government has claimed that the rupture is temporary and has caved, however, gradually on buying Russian oil and on trade term with the Americans. Okay, so this is the main idea. So let's read it in detail, and we are going to read each line in detail. Okay. Altogether, too much discussion on the US China relationship today focuses on contrast between two countries. Okay, it shows the relation between two countries. So, the one hand, there is hand wavering and head slapping about America's increasing global weakness and unpopularity. Its seemingly inevitable decline engendered by the zero-sum worldview and the chaotic polymaking of 47 President Donald Trump. Okay, so on the other hand, meanwhile, there is a um, grudging, sometimes open admiration for the Chinese party states determined methodical march under Communist Party General Secretary Xi Jinping that has seen, okay, the PLA Navy overtaking the US Navy in size, okay, where the leadership criticized technology and growing China's takeover of Taiwan in an inevitability. Okay, so the great power uh, will rise or fall, and this do not tell the full story of US China relationship. Okay, but the power will rise or fall where the US good runner. Okay, and it depends on both people's common aspiration and the ability of exercise scientific. Okay, so rational thought in achieving those aspiration. The US people today are divided house and the politician weak pusillanimous the assault on domestic issue. This is mainly about US. Okay, whatever the thing that is written here. As a result, not all the aspirations increasingly narrow. What remains of the greatness of their capacity of global good is being frittered away by act of both commission. Think the criticism and targeting of even allies and partners like Canada, the European Union, or India, and of omission, think of defunding of USAID or of the United Nations. Okay, so this is the main idea about the US and how they criticize the allies, partner like Canada, European Union, or India. Okay, so the current way we already read about a lot of news about the India and how the relation is impacted of India and US due to the tariff. All the changes we read. Okay, so let's move on to the China. So meanwhile, China obviously stepping into bench breach. It also breached the Chinese anticipated the Belt and Road Initiative was launched in 2013, well before Trump appeared on the scene. It has seen followed up with several more specialized enterprises such as Global Security Initiative and most recently the Global Governance Initiative. Okay, so the US muscle or diplomacy have weakened or will start collapsing. So the Chinese played a part in creating considered for example China promises in 2015 to Trump's predecessor Barack Obama on not militarizing the China Sea. Okay, so China routinely bullies its neighbors, and the rest of the world does not even treat it as front page news. Okay, so this is a new where Trump script as America's 45th president by turning his China's okay exploitation of both American goodwill and greed. Okay, so China policy by bipartisan Joe Biden also underlined about the American strength. Okay, so the adaptability and the ability to deploy considerable resource to quickly change course and achieve fresh and scaled up objective. Okay, where the American self-interest rule, it has least some positive for China's neighbor dealing with security threat. Okay, where the world asked with US Secretary about the reordering of America's health priorities or secretaries of war political lecture to military leadership. But as misguided as these attempts might be, the clarity of purpose these attempts represent can also serve America's foreign policy objective when necessary. Okay, where they made useful correction of European defense and the US but disrespected the allies. Okay, but report of the death of either NATO or of alliance with East Asian power have been greatly exaggerated. Okay, so exaggerated means बढ़ा के चढ़ा के. Okay, so it also clearly understand the limit of new Delhi's option, either Russia or China. Okay, however, gradually on buying Russian oil and on trade term with the American. Okay, so have the American under Trump and these capabilities making war. So China fourth plenum and the Communist Party where it focused on encouraging new quality productive forces. It is easy to suppose that China is declaring its determination to do even better when what it already quite good at doing, but it can equally be the case that ringing calls to focus on. Okay, so and the need to inspire greater confidence in Chinese cultural among other people betrayed weaknesses in the economy and insecurities about the capacities of the poor Chinese people. Okay, so this is the main idea where the Trump meeting the sidelines of Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation event in South Korea, where it announced the US would reduce tariff on Chinese product while China would lift restrictions on rare earth export. Okay, so this is the condition and this is the situation. It's mainly about the US and China and how the rivalry is विरोध करना. ठीक है, how they protest each other. Okay, so let's move on to the another topic. So how at last de-escalation of China US trade war. Okay, ठीक है, so the it's mainly about the battle of US and China, what is going on the war on the trade war, okay, in the economy. And the China already told that they will not export the natural earth minerals to US. That is not found in any country. That is mainly imported from China and exported from China. And the main thing of this is that mineral is too much important for making vehicles or making all other technological products. So this is the thing that is shown by the and the word that explained by the author. Okay. An early start. Center must consider states' proposal to extend PM portion to include breakfast and implement it in fair manner. Okay, so it's an early start. Don't rely on the heavens. Artificial rains can at best be temporary solution to Delhi's bad air problem. Hmm. Short-term visibility action often divert resources and attention from more meaningful interventions such as restrict enforcement of emission norms, transition to cleaner fuel and technologies, improve public transport, improve waste management, and better coordination. Okay, between Delhi, neighbor, and state of issues such as crop residue burning and industrial emission. These are the thing. If they can do these type of thing, then the condition will automatically improve. But instead of focusing on that thing, they are just using just different techniques, or they just uh, waste the resources by using short term rains or anything else. बस just like नजरिए का धोखा, visibility action. Okay. So it's the idea page. Okay. So this is the page of government and politics. PM says insult to Chheti Maiya as Rahul takes aim over separate pond. Okay. Rahul, PM lacks courage to take on Trump over ceasefire claim. Priyanka says NEP and PM Shri are brainwashing kids. Pradhan hits back. Okay. Bihar Mukama found dead, many injured after JDU January Suraj clash. Okay, government to bring law against substandard pesticides and shits Chauhan. Exemption came into effect from October 29. In U-turn, US gives 6 month sanction relief to Chabahar. US announced withdrawal of section waiver in September. Okay, AI to be introduced in class 3 from 26-27. Okay, this is about Bihar Assembly election. Okay, this is the slide of Express Network. GM Free India's rice data claims baseless, says ICAR. Okay, Indian Council of Agricultural Research. I think this is the full form. India asked for fresh detail from US on 26/11 attack accused Rana. Okay, this is a slide. It's official. Justice Surya Kant to be next CGI will take charge on November 24. CBSE class 10-12 exam to be begin from February 17. Okay. For held over slogan on Aligarh temple wall says spelling error. Give them away. From class with no furniture at to top bench. CGI designate journey from Haryana village. Okay. Alarm bells ring as four blood donors test HIV plus. Car mirror hit couple chase. Biker crush him to death. Finally, we are at the explanation page and we are going to read it in detail. Okay, so India, Russian oil, and the looming secondary sanction threat. India has always opposed unilateral economic standard on sanction on countries, yet it has through grudgingly headed such sanction with Indian refiners stopping purchases following the United States sanction on Iranian and Venezuelan oil. Similarly, is now playing out with Russia following the US sanction, where the US oil giant Rosneft Lukoil recently. So, largest refiner, Indian Oil Corporation, said it will comply with all sanctions, okay, imposed by the international community without specifying the US. This even as Russian crude made up 21% of IOC oil import basket in the April to September period. Okay, so private sector giant Reliance Industries Limited, which account for around half of India's Russian oil imports, said Friday that it was assessing the implication and the compliance requirement following the sanctions will be complying fully with any guidance from the Indian government on the issues. Source indicated the RIL would heavily reduce its Russian imports. Refiner HPCL Mittal Energy, a joint venture between public sector refiner Hindustan Petroleum Corporation and steel tycoon Lakshmi Mittal's Mittal Energy. Also, that it suspended further purchase of Moscow's oil after Western nation imposed sanction. It is first Indian refiner to officially mention suspending Russian oil import. The reason why countries like India try to steer clear of entity sanctions where US primarily rooted the sword of secondary sanction hanging over their head. What are the secondary sanction? The primary sanction is here, read it, and the secondary sanction is here, okay? So read it. Why are US secondary sanction a threat? Okay, before going, we already read about a lot of things and a lot of words. Please tell me the meaning of sanction. Okay, I already started the explanation of the topic, but can you please tell me the meaning of sanction? So, the official order that limit business contact with particular country. Okay, so it's a sanctions means I will write it here. Official. I just unable to write with this pen. Official order. Okay, to limit the trade with a particular country. Okay, to Limit trade, we'll just remember it. Okay, so sanction means official trade, so that they limit the trade with another country. Okay. So these are the threats over India when buying the Russian oil. So why US secondary section a threat? So this is the question and everything is written here. So read it in detail. And what can India expect? So what India expect? Most Indian refiners have investment on arms operating in the US, where the trade relationship with the American companies that they might have to sacrifice. RIL has served several US based subsidiaries across sector, where India also buy crude oil and liquefied natural gas from the US. Okay, so the payment to shipping lines and insurers are also usually in dollar. Okay, so this is the thing that is written here. It's mainly explain the economy. Okay, it's explain the politics and it's global. With US set to restart nuclear tests, recalling reason for halt. Long shadow for Jungle Raj. After ASEAN summit, okay, so group's importance for India amid, okay, US China tussle. Okay, so tell me the meaning of ASEAN. So Association of Southeast Asian Nation. Okay, okay. So after this summit, the US and China tussle. Okay, so this is the thing. We already read about the US and China thing. Let's read about the sport section. I have almost cried every day, not doing well mentally. I knew I had to show up and God took care of everything. It's by Jemima Rodriguez. It's her word. What she did, let's read it. Greatest cheese, greatness back on. Jemima's unbeaten 127 of 134 balls. Okay, help India overall record target of 338 against 7 times champions Australia to enter final. Okay. Cup Chess World Cup coming to the new home. Clockwise World Champion D. Gukesh, World Women Champion Divya Deshmukh, and India number one Arjun Erigashi will all feature during the international championship in Goa this fortnight. Okay, so that's enough. Oh, that's here is the economic piece. So let's read it. Discussion paper by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation MOSPI. New CPI to track rural housing inflation exclude employer providing dwellings. ASUS PLF to help estimate the strict domestic product working with states MOSPI SASI. Tariff impact engineering good export to US slipped 9% in September. Okay. RIL Google partner to offer free Gemini AI plan to Zio users. As Amazon fire 14,000 people is artificial intelligence already taking away human jobs. Grow sets IPO price band at rupees 95 to 100 per equity share. Okay, so this is the thing, and I'm just going to end today's session. Thank you for watching, and if you like it, then please like, share, and subscribe.